Welcome, everybody, to the That Kind of Nerd podcast. I am CJ Mellon.
I am Brian Thornton.
And I am Josh Burns.
Welcome to our show. Well, welcome, everybody, to the show. I'm really excited for this week's episode.
I had a good later. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. 2 minutes
We've been
later.
talking for 5.5 minutes. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, right. Well, now they're here. You weren't here before, listener. You don't know what we were saying before you got here.
Or
You arrived to the party late.
Fashionably late, which is how you should be arriving.
Where are the chips and dip? And I was told there would be punch and pie, and I see no punch and pie. Anyway,
and CJ double dips. Stay away from them.
I do, and I'm sorry.
It's the worst thing
That's
ever.
Poor.
It's almost as bad as texting in a movie theater.
Way worse. It's way worse than texting in a theater.
And don't give me this bullcrap that you dip it one way and then you turn it around and then you dip it.
Exactly
I don't care.
what I do, actually.
Your grubby fingers were on that side. You don't double dip. Ugh. Anyway, continue.
I don't know. Can we just do a whole podcasting about double dip? I think it's worthy enough.
No.
Welcome, everybody, to the double dip. It's got a great podcast name to it. You don't know what it's about yet, but it's good.
It sounds dirty. So
yeah,
let's not
it's going to get nasty up in here.
So for those of you who are actually still sticking around, I'm very surprised. We got a good show. I think we got some good topics. We want to start with the thing that we like to do towards the end of the fiscal month. Fiscal month, Jesus! Wow, am I in work mode?
It's our fiscal month.
It's our fiscal month here.
Everyone bring your perspectives
in all of our key categories.
The earnings came out this month. The beginning of the month, we want to give you a breakdown as to what movies are coming out, what movies are worth your time. Brian graciously compiled the list of August movies.
All four of them.
Well, I added one, if that makes me feel any better. It does, actually. That was just for me.
Those are not all the movies in existence, just the movies that...
The ones that we think you should pay attention to.
There are so many limited release crappy movies coming out that you should only just see these good ones. And these are the ones that we recommend for you. So let's start it off with the August 7th release of The Fantastic Four, which I can see from Brian's face is like the mech of mech.
It is meh. I'm not excited for this movie at all. I don't
better
know.
than Ant-Man.
No, I don't think it will be. I really don't.
I have such a respect for Miles Teller. And then I'm watching Michael B. Jordan.
Miles Teller,
really great. And then I see them in this movie, and I was like, whose agent was drunk when they were just like, yeah, you should totally. I think this would be a great project that you should get involved with.
Kate Mara in it too?
Kate Mara is in it. She's
it's like a great cast.
Yeah,
like it really is. The cast is great, but the internet's not too kind on this movie.
Listen, this movie is going to do what the first two did. The first two got the four of them really well, and they screwed up the villain, which is Dr. Doom, and this movie's going to do the same thing, coupled with the fact that it's based on a shitty comic book storyline that was not good at all. So I'm not excited for this.
So, I mean, that's
I'm going to go see it. Don't get me wrong. I'm just not excited for it. I'll be in line being like, I don't want to be here.
It's the one movie Brian's going to text
Well,
during.
the Fantastic Four was never good by themselves. They were only good in team-ups.
Right.
I mean, I've always... If we're talking about comic books, there are some very awesome Fantastic Four comic book storylines that you probably have not read. Just the one that this movie.
Why did you pass judgment on us? Why did you just pass judgment on us?
Because I'm a very judgmental person.
All right.
God.
Oh, you don't have to call me God. It's okay. Set up for an easy joke.
It's not even a good joke.
So, anywho, the Fantastic Four. Listen, they're a lot younger than what most people are used to. Brian, your initial pet peeve with this was the whole family dynamic of the Fantastic Four is off kilter and doesn't like the buy-in for the family just isn't there. So can you give us just a little background as to what exactly is bothering you about the setup of this movie versus the other movies?
This movie, so Fantastic Four, unlike every other, is different from every other comic book in the fact that it's very focused on the four of them being a family, a very family dynamic. And I just didn't get that from any of the trailers. Like, they don't seem like they're close. They don't seem like they would, take a bullet for each other. They just seem like they got thrown into a science experiment together, and now here we are.
So they picked lab partners in high school, apparently, according to their age. Too.
I mean, maybe the movie will prove me wrong. I don't know. But there's two very important things when you're talking about Fantastic Four. It's got to be the four of them and that family dynamic, which I felt is lacking so far in everything I've seen. And Doom has got to be extremely menacing. He's got to be... Dr. Doom is heralded as one of the greatest villains of all time. He is the inspiration behind Darth Vader, and he needs to be more menacing. And those first two movies screwed it up. He was more of a pretty boy, and it wasn't good at all. And this movie is everything I'm reading. I don't even have words for it. It's just not... He's not the threat that he's supposed to be and has been in the comic books.
So are you hoping to be surprised by this movie, or are you coming in with lowered expectations? And
I'm going to be completely honest. I'm hoping it tanks and Marvel picks it back up and does it right. That's my hope.
Do you think they're going to just say, okay, well, we messed this Fantastic Four up too, so all right, here you go, Marvel, you can have it back? You just think they're going to release it?
I think if it tanks, Marvel will come at them with a pretty big check and be like, hey, time to let it go. You've done. You had 3 chances. You're done. We'll see. I hope so.
Josh, what do you think about this movie?
I think it's going to be good. I don't see any reason it wouldn't be. It's a good. They all have good origin stories. You know, it's got a ridiculously good cast. I think the movie is cast a little bit better than it probably should have been.
Yeah.
But you know, I think it's going to be good. I don't have any reason to suspect otherwise. The Fantastic Four is already sort of a second tier, comic book bunch of characters as it is. So not lowering expectations, just saying I'd rather see them in a team up. I'd rather see him with Silver Surfer. I'd rather see him. However,
well, that's what they're talking. If this does well, they're talking crossing over X-Men and Fantastic Four.
Then they should.
I mean, that's really the best way that they've done it in every other iteration of it. So
I think it needs to come back under the Marvel umbrella. I think it'd be a lot cooler to see Reed Richards next to Tony Stark than next to Wolverine.
Well, they all need to come back under the Marvel umbrella, but you know, if
slowly have gotten there.
Sure.
Well, we can hope. So, I mean, I know I'm going to see this movie. I'm not going to be there opening, weekend maybe, but I'll probably see it. And I know Brian's in the same camp, right? You're going to see it, but we're not camping out for it. Josh, are you going to go to your Wednesday matinee and
see lunch? It's going to be a lunch movie.
No, all right. So August 7th, Fantastic Four. We'll see what happens. So let's go on to the next movie. On August 14th, we have A Man from U.N.C.L.E., starring Henry Cavill. Hey, I got his name this time. Hey, look at me. I remembered his name.
It's literally right in front of you.
Yeah,
you're right in front of me.
You're reading it.
Thanks, guys. The listener doesn't know this.
Now they do.
You could have just given that to me.
No,
could have just given it to me.
No.
And,
not after we had to repeat his name 4 times.
It was twice.
In connection to Superman.
Well, and we each said it twice. That's 4 times.
Okay, so that's 4 times. And then Armie Hammer, who you may know from The Social Network, who played the Winklevoss twins.
The Winklevoss.
Or the Lone Ranger.
No one knows him from the Lone Ranger because no one saw that movie. I know him
from the Lone Ranger.
The box office numbers clearly tell you no one saw the Lone Ranger.
I saw it.
Yeah, he played both Winklevoss twins, which is pretty awesome. This movie, it's so weird. It doesn't seem rooted in any kind of reality, and I can't buy it.
It's not supposed to be.
I know, but I don't.
Based on a 60s TV show, right?
An old 60s television show.
I'm aware of that.
Were you getting there? Because it didn't seem like you were getting there.
Yes, thank you.
And in a podcast,
you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna leave it here. You talk about it. Do what you guys do.
In a podcast where we just got done talking about a giant rock monster, going through the streets of New York and beating crap up, the Man from U.N.C.L.E. doesn't seem based in any sort of you can't buy that. What the hell's wrong with you?
Wow. Hold on. I have to get out from underneath this bus you just threw me under.
Just saying,
we've all read the Fantastic Four
okay,
before.
But
no one's watched this obscure television show from the 60s.
Wait,
so is it like you've got Henry Cavill?
I have a British man playing an American and an American playing a Russian.
Right, okay.
And then the storyline is so obscure that
is this sort of like is this just like, all right, well, the British have Kingsman, so we need to have this.
That's what I feel like this is.
I don't think so. No? This movie has actually been in the works for a long time. They were talking about back in George Clooney's heyday, they were talking about doing a Man from U.N.C.L.E. movie with George Clooney. So this isn't like a new thing. It just finally came out. and has become a reality. I mean, I think it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. I used to watch this show with my dad, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it.
What's your dad think?
My dad's extremely excited. My dad is extremely excited for this movie.
He's seen the trailer?
Yes, he has.
And he feels like it's accurate, or that they're bringing it accurately into this century.
So far, no complaints from Papa Thornton.
All right, sweet.
All right. Well, if it's good for Papa Thornton, it's good for the rest of us.
I watched the trailer twice, and I thought, hey, this looks like a cool action movie, and that's really all.
This is one of those movies where, you're gonna leave. You're like, that was cool. Wait, what happened in that movie?
You know how I feel like this might be. So I didn't see Kingsman in the theater. Okay.
Oh.
But as soon as it was available on iTunes, I got it, and the weekend that I bought it on iTunes, I watched it 4 times. So
that's a very good movie.
I feel like that, like The Man from U.N.C.L.E. might be that way.
I don't know. We'll see.
I'm going to see it. I'll probably be there opening day. This is the only movie actually this month that I'm actually really excited for.
Oh, you're bothering me right now.
So that leads us to the movie that Josh is ready to jump in a skin for.
Yeah, Josh is ready to jump in because of the next week's movie that identifies with him on a personal level. Is it on the same day?
It's on the same day, August 14th.
It identifies with you on a personal level growing up in the mean streets of Reading. I didn't have that. I don't identify. I never listened to the album. I didn't even know Ice Cube existed until Friday. I don't.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Wow.
The movie Friday was the first exposure
I
had.
I never listened to any of his music.
So the movie we're talking about is Straight Outta Compton. But now Josh has talked about this trailer before when it first premiered. And
he's uber excited.
I
am.
I think he's going to camp out for this movie. And you know what? He's not going to text. I think his phone's going to be away during this movie. Which means I'm going to text you the entire movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna
just to get justice.
This is the entire movie.
This is the story of the NWA, and you know what? I gotta be honest. The reviews for this movie are crazy. Everyone's
Ice Cube's son is playing
Ice Cube. It's so freaky to watch that. But I mean, they're saying that the portrayal of the whole crew and just seeing a different side of them and hearing their story is just really powerful, and it's really drawing in a lot of people that don't normally identify. With
I will
this
say
type
this.
of people.
I mean, I didn't listen to this album. I didn't grow up with this music, and the movie looks good. I actually was very intrigued by it. And Paul Giamatti can do no wrong.
Well,
got a good cast.
It's Paul Giamatti. I mean, it's
right. And then but off the back of this release, NWA is reuniting with Eminem playing the part of Eazy-E on tour, which
wow.
I'm not really sure how that's going to work lyrically, and I don't I'm excited to see how it goes. As talented as Eminem is, he doesn't quite have the iconic voice that Eazy-E had. And if you haven't listened to the record, you should. But then when you see the movie, it's Eazy-E's voice is one of a kind.
I have a feeling that when I'm in a car with you for 5 hours next week, I'll be listening.
Oh, that's right. I can subject you to his entire recorded works. Yeah, true story.
Is it on Apple Music? We can plug it in that way.
I bet you it is.
Listen, I'll say this: for people who are like, I don't listen to rap or hip hop. This movie's got.
Is that what I sound like to you?
That's exactly what you sound.
A little bit, yeah. A little
Ash,
bit.
I'm not gonna lie. Play back the other episodes. That's actually what you sound like.
Wow.
I think you're gonna like this movie. I think it's gonna draw you in. I think the story and the life of these people isn't as well known to the masses, and I think this is gonna show a different side. And I think you're gonna see a great story arc come out of this. So I'm really excited. I actually cannot wait to see this movie. I'm down for it. Brian, will you give this movie a chance?
I've been waiting for this.
I'll give this movie a chance, but probably not opening weekend. I don't know, because I'll be seeing Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Brian's going to drive as far up 33 as he can to a theater to watch this movie.
Anything else you want to say on this subject, Josh, that you were so passionate about the last time?
I hope you go, we should all just go to the drive-in and see this.
Oh my God, that would be a great drive-in movie.
Yeah, it would be an amazing drive-in movie.
That'd be really good.
Because the whole crowd would be insane at the drive-in.
That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So then another movie that's also coming out on August 14th, so that's 3 movies coming out on August 15th, is American Ultra. So let me do something for you, listener here. you need to go to thatkindofnerd.com, find the August movie trailers, and watch the Red Band trailer for this movie, because the current trailer that's on TV is garbage, and it doesn't do this movie any justice whatsoever. So I put the Red Band trailer up on there, which is a little explicit, so just be aware if you're at work, it's not really safe for work. But it really kind of gives you a better arc of what the story is. So this is Topher Grace, Jesse Eisenberg, I can't believe I'm going to say Kristen Stewart, and a movie I want to see. And it kind of reminds me of the show
you don't like Kristen Stewart?
No.
You can't hold Twilight against her forever. She's actually a decent actor.
No, she's
Not
not.
only
She
that,
acts with her jaw.
Wait, Adventureland.
And Runaways. She was great in Runaways.
Yeah.
I can't. No, the woman acts with her jaw. That's how she portrays emotion,
Look,
and that bothers me. And one movie where she doesn't speak and she mumbles a little bit does not make her a good actress.
Eisenberg and she co-starred in Adventureland. That movie,
Which was also
great.
a good movie.
Movie's great.
I didn't see it. I'll maybe put it on my list.
Hey,
But what I
I'll
like
let you
about
borrow it if you ever return Jurassic Park to me.
That's true. What I do like about this movie is it's kind of a fusion between two things that I really liked. And Josh is going to watch one of these.
Pod?
It looks like Scott Pilgrim.
Well, no, it's kind of, to me, what I kind of take away is Pineapple Express meets Chuck.
It's Jason Bourne on marijuana.
Yeah, because, all right, I'll give you that. But
It's literally a pothead who's Jason Bourne.
The reason I said Chuck, though, is because he has these flashes, and then he gains his skills, which is literally what happens in Chuck. He flashes on something, and then now he can do karate. So it's basically a stoner who gets triggered by the government to become a super
He's a
action
sleeper
hero.
agent.
Yeah, it's a sleeper agent, literally. It's pretty awesome. And Topher Grace hasn't made a movie in a long time that I've ever cared about, so I'm on board for that too. So I think you should give this a try. Watch the Red Band trailer. If you think that's interesting, I think you'll like the movie. If you don't like it, don't
You didn't like In
bother
Good
wasting your
Company?
time. I loved In Good Company, but
Yeah, but that was a while ago.
2005.
Seems like it
someone's
was
gonna hold on. Now I have to look up when In Good Company comes in because there's someone yelling in their car. That's not the year. That's not the year.
Scarlett Johansson,
Yeah, it's 2005. I was right. Huzzah!
Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid. I got that movie from my dad because I thought my dad would absolutely love that movie, and he and I watch it annually. It's a great bonding moment for us. But I love it. I think it's great. Anyway, American Ultra, what do you guys think? Did you watch the Red Band trailer?
Nope.
I've seen it.
And
I mean,
thoughts?
it's not something I'm going to rush out to the theater to see, but it'll definitely be something I check out.
I'll
probably.
see this before I see Man from U.N.C.L.E.
That's crazy.
That is
talk.
crazy talk.
I'll save Man from U.N.C.L.E. for later in the
With
month.
because
Stimulus
of,
Tuesday. That
I mean, it's
no, because I'm more
Topher
intrigued.
Grace is not a good actor.
I'm just intrigued on the premise of this. This premise looks so odd, and I think it's going to be one of those little movies that doesn't do well at all. But
This is not a
people
cult classic. This is
No,
not a cult classic.
but I'll watch on DVD a couple times. This is a me movie. It's not everyone else. I don't care. They made this movie for dorks like me, and that's fine.
I'll see it. They made it for stoners, dude.
Yeah, that's exactly what they made it for.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said the Pineapple Express part. Let
Yeah,
that
but-
be known. I am not a stoner. I'm just saying it's.
Okay,
What, I can't backpedal fast enough? Is that what you're just telling me?
that's what I'm telling you.
I see Brian's face down here snickering at me going, oh, you're an idiot.
No, I just, anytime I think of pothead movies, I think of my days working at the video store when 1 o'clock would roll around and everybody come in and rent Half Baked and Harold and Kumar.
Dazed and Confused. They come in for Dazed and Confused.
Every Friday night between the hours of 12:30 and 1, the only customers were people renting Dazed and Confused, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Half Baked, and Harold and Kumar. And we
Did
had
they-
like 10 copies of each, and they were always gone.
National Lampoon Senior Trip. It was Jeremy Renner's first movie, and
Is it really?
yeah, and I saw
my
it.
God.
I saw it when I was very young. I remember under those conditions it being hilarious. I watched it a few years ago. It's not as funny. It's not as funny if it's not 12:30 in the morning and you rented it from Blockbuster. That's all I'm saying.
Some Brian behind the counter going, oh, yeah, these assholes. Again.
This is why I'm open to 1 a.m. and then they raid my candy aisle that I just stocked.
That's good for you, though.
I know. It wasn't good for me, apparently. All the Blockbusters are closed.
Like, the
did
sale
not-
of
they did
Junior
not make their
Mints
nut on candy.
couldn't keep them alive. Junior Mints and Funyuns couldn't keep Blockbuster alive. See, the movie universe, though, was nice enough to say, holy crap, that's a lot of movies coming out on the 14th. Let's give you a break. Let's give you a week so that we can go ahead and watch some of these movies. come back on the 28th and come see Hitman Agent 47.
Yeah, I can't wait for
second
that.
Hitman movie.
Because the dude who's playing the agent.
Rupert Friend?
Yeah, Rupert Friend. He was in Homeland.
Yes, yes, he was.
Yeah, and he was fantastic in Homeland. Peter Quinn.
Also
Yeah.
got Mr. Spock in it.
I was just about to say, Zachary Quinto.
Zachary
is,
Quinto.
walking around being all Zachary Quinto-y.
How do you not like Zachary Quinto?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Everybody likes Zachary.
We should be talking about Heroes Reborn because that's August too, isn't it? Or it's either August or October. Maybe I'm off.
I don't know. But what do you think of this? Is this because what did you guys think of the last Hitman movie? Because there was another Hitman movie.
Yeah,
before.
it had Timothy Olyphant. It was great.
I enjoyed that movie.
Did you guys play the video game? Because this is based off a video game.
Yeah,
for those who don't know.
I played the first one, and when the second one came out for PC, I was playing it, and then when the second one came out, it became one of those games where I could not beat this level. I just couldn't.
Yep.
I couldn't do it. My buddy Brent, he stays home from work one day, sitting on the computer playing Hitman. I come home and I'm like, you haven't moved. He's like, I know, I need soup. Okay, I'll make you soup, but why haven't you moved? He's like, I figured it out. You need to go out of the restaurant, crawl in the window, put the gun behind the toilet, then walk in the restaurant.
I remember this level.
Say hi to the guy. I'm like, wait, this isn't The Godfather. He's like, yeah, you have to do that. But after you shoot him, you have to drag him out through the bathroom into the alley. And I'm like, I would have never gotten that. I'm never playing this game again. The game was unbelievable, and it was the first game of its kind that I can recall really made you think. The story was fantastic. The action was great. You could auto-aim, which is a bonus.
This was pre-Splinter Cell too, right?
No.
This was...
It was right around the same time.
Around the same time?
No. Splinter Cell came out for the original PlayStation in like 96.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
you're right.
Okay. I remember this game doing two things. It combined my love for solving puzzles and shooting people in the head.
Well, solving puzzles didn't come
figure it out.
until the second game.
Yeah.
Right,
The
that's what I'm
first
saying.
one
That game
was
put
just
that
shooting
together.
people in the head.
Yeah, and
I didn't. That wasn't my favorite part. I like to strangle him up close, sneak up behind him, and give him the old garrote action. It was good.
Yeah, I played every single Hitman game, and I've loved and been frustrated by almost all of them.
So I'm hoping we don't have that frustration though for this movie. It looks really good, and I'm hoping the franchise can come back from this, and I hope that maybe we can get some more. Because I think this is a total
movie
reboot,
was
right?
Good. It was just
It just didn't do. It just didn't do
well.
anything.
This isn't the problem is Hitman movies aren't. They're not like widely accepted. I mean, you're not.
Yeah, but
they're not
we
all
got, like,
Mission Impossible where it's sanctioned hits, right? This guy's a bad guy. People generally don't like movies about a bad guy. He's a bad guy.
Yeah, but I mean, like, we got movies like The Transporter, which I don't think deserved a franchise.
He's not a bad guy. He's a good guy.
I know, but I mean, the sense
He's
of
just
like
minding
that.
his own business. You don't put anything in your car. You don't know what it is. He's a transporter. He's taking it A to B. That's his job.
Oh wait, so I shouldn't take the luggage that's left out at the airport. That's
Clearly,
unattended
the
in my
announcements
vehicle.
throughout the airport periodically tell you that you shouldn't take that bag.
But I park in the white zone. Is that not where I'm supposed to?
That's not where you're supposed to park.
Is that for the loading and unloading of passengers only?
Only.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh!
That's the only reason it's
I've
there.
been breaking the rules all my life. I've never known
Yeah,
this.
Don't leave your bag unattended.
Should I pack my bags myself? I'm just all right. This is dumb.
Yeah, you're going way too far with this.
I know.
You're turning into a George Carlin skit. Is what you're doing.
That's exactly where I'm going to get.
Collect
it now.
any items you may have brought. I may have brought my Arrowhead collection, but I didn't.
Please bring all your private possessions. Oh, I can't take the fountain from the park. So, what is the movie that's really exciting you in August? What is the movie? I know Josh has answered this, but so we're just going to let.
I already gave you my answer for it.
Yeah, he said The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Man from
It's the only movie he's really looking forward to.
I mean, I'm looking forward to Hitman. I'm definitely going to see Hitman. More excited for Man for Uncle, though.
All right, fair enough.
And Josh is obviously straight out of Compton.
Straight out of Compton.
So CJ.
Actually, I'm more excited for that movie too. Out of all these, that's the movie that I'm really jazzed about.
Because
I think this movie has a lot of potential too.
Context to history. I can't wait.
And for those of you who are playing the home game who are also yelling at us, Heroes Reborn is September. It'll be the 24th of September.
Yay.
We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it then.
Cannot wait.
You know who's in that show? Chuck.
I don't care.
And
You should
Zachary
watch
Quinto.
Chuck. Zachary Quinto hasn't been confirmed. Not that I've seen.
The only guy they've confirmed is Masioka.
Yeah.
And Noah Bennett, whatever his name is.
Okay.
Oh, and the guy who played the guy who was the doctor who became a spider in the third season. I can't remember.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Spoilers, jeez.
the show is like 6 years old at this point. If it's
know.
spoiled, that's on you.
You can spoiler.
Mohinder Suresh.
Mohinder. Thank you. Mohinder.
Wow. We really need IMDb. Otherwise, we're going to sound like idiots, don't we?
No, I don't care. I'm naming characters, not actors. I don't care.
So let's talk about some other things that are going to consume your time, and that's Netflix. So you've obviously, viewer, or listener, I should say, you remember us talking about how awesome Daredevil was on Netflix. And if you haven't watched it, what the hell are you doing? Would you please watch?
If you haven't watched Daredevil, you have made some poor life choices.
I'm listening. I'm pointing at you, Mike Nasser. Yeah, I'm calling a person out.
Wait. Nasser hasn't watched Daredevil?
Has
Can't
not watched
to
Daredevil.
Nasser.
Or Man of Steel. Or Watchmen. And a couple
what? He
others.
hasn't seen Watchmen?
No, we talked about this today at work. I'm going to make him a list and put it on That Kind of Nerd just for him as to the movies that he needs to watch. And then he will then have to comment on the website and tell us that he's watched these movies. I'm calling him out that hard.
Nasser, look, I mean...
Can you strap a GoPro to like the TV and watch his reactions as he watches these movies?
Reaction movies to it. That'd be great. So Netflix has announced at a conference that they are going to plan new shows every 6 months to the end of the year. So we are getting
just for Marvel.
Wait, every 6 months? Wait, every 6 months to the end of the year? That's 2 new shows.
No. Every 6 months for the next 3 years, I think they said.
My bad. I misread the headline.
That's 6 shows.
Yes,
so they announced, and that's just their Marvel stuff. That's not,
we'll get into the other shows in a minute, but let's focus on Marvel. So Jessica Jones is going to premiere before the end of 2015.
Yeah, we talked about Jessica Jones.
So, well, yeah, I know, but I think that, did we go into a lot of detail with Jessica Jones?
We spent a few minutes on Jessica Jones, but let's talk about Jessica Jones if you want to talk about her.
Because the reason is this is Marvel's first
it's Kristen Ritter, right?
Yeah, this is the first female superhero. So people who actually have superpowers.
Well, they've already named Captain Marvel.
Yeah, but that we're going to see. This is the first one that we're actually going to get a chance to look at.
All right, fair enough.
And that we're going to watch. So we've been talking about, like female role models in the nerd culture, and
because CJ needs those.
You know what?
You need someone to look up to. I understand.
I need to know that it's okay that I can be a tough chick. I can have lady balls, and I can be okay with that. And this is the first one that we're going to see with actual superpowers. So I'm not trying to put down Agent Carter, and I'm not trying to put down Black Widow. They just don't actually have superpowers,
which makes them more badass.
I know it does.
Black Widow is a badass.
There was a picture of Agent Carter on Imager today, and I thought she might have superpowers. Just based on that photo. That's all I'm saying. Check out Reddit, people.
I don't know what photo you speak of.
You will when you get on Imager. It's right there. It's the front page. Everybody's all over it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But then what they're also going to do then is, so that the plan for Marvel on Netflix is that these shows are going to come out in these intervals, and then it's going to coalesce in a Defenders. I don't know if they're going to do a show, miniseries. I don't know if it gets a little movie. I don't know how Netflix is going to.
It's going to be a show.
Is it going to be a show? I don't know if they're going to do a movie like they've done some original movies.
No, it's going to be a show.
So we'll have Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, and Luke Cage.
Correct.
Yeah, they're gonna just coalesce in one big show for the Defenders. So I'm excited to that. My question though is, if these, what's the schedule? Do we do a Defenders thing and then we go back to these individual projects? Are they always intermingling? Because the way that they've done Daredevil right now is that they're mentioning these characters, by vague references and not actually saying the character's name. So I'm curious how they're going to start tying this universe together and what they're going to do.
I think it would be stupid to think that you can have 4 different heroes operating within the same 20 square blocks and have them not run into each other.
There was a meme.
Like everybody in Hell's Kitchen, you mean? Like just
right. Yeah. That's their thing. That's their shtick.
There was a thing, a meme online that said it was like Guardians of the Galaxy gets the entire galaxy. You've got Spider-Man covering New York, the whole thing. And then you have 5...
not really.
Right, but then you have 5 superheroes covering Hell's Kitchen in the Bronx.
For the most part, you see you see Peter Parker in Manhattan, and
Manhattan,
you see him uptown, and sometimes you see him in Brooklyn, but that's really it.
It's just like, what the fuck's going on in Hell's Kitchen that we need that many vigilantes?
Well,
Kingpin's screwing things up.
Kingpin's getting busy in Hell's Kitchen. Here's what I don't see, and it's bothered me a little bit. I don't see the Punisher, and I don't see Aaron Paul as Ghost Rider.
I think Aaron Paul as Ghost Rider will be after the
And I thought we made it very clear that this movie has been greenlit, the show has been greenlit and in production.
Well, it's an exclusive for that kind of nerd, so I didn't put it out
Blackheart. Gotcha.
Right, yes. I thought the Punisher missing was an interesting part too. I don't know if that was by omission or he's got another project going on.
When is Daredevil season 2 supposed to be?
Next year.
I don't know.
2016. Yeah. Really? Because I thought I could have sworn that's what that was the thing that it said. In the article when they talked about it, they said 2016, right?
Here's my question. We are binge watchers. That's what we do. Do you think having these shows spread out is going to give enough time for everybody to digest it, or are they targeting binge watchers?
They're targeting binge watchers. That's Netflix's whole. That's their whole recipe for success. Yeah, man. So you've said shtick twice. I just want to point out.
Is it okay that I say shtick?
I mean, I guess I'll
try to fit it in 3 or 4 more times throughout the show.
I don't know how many times one person has to say shtick.
I will create a record. Start your counters, ladies and gentlemen. We're at 2 already.
Every time Brian says shtick for the rest of the show, do a shot.
You gotta do a shot. We're gonna make this a drinking game.
And made you the shtick police.
Get your fireball ready. All right?
Seriously.
Whatever whatever swill you youngsters are drinking.
I just don't understand what's wrong with shtick. Can we talk about shtick for a while?
Here's my question. Jessica Jones is going to get 13 episodes, so basically 13 hours, which I would assume then all the other shows that are superhero related are going to get the same kind of treatment.
Before you move on, Brian, what's Jessica Jones? What's her shtick?
Her shtick is she's a pretty like superpower. She can fly. She can do all of this kind of Superman-ish type thing. But she gets depowered after a while. Is concentrating more on being like a reporter and kind of being just a standard woman in the superhero world.
Does she not have an alias?
Her comic book show was Alias. No, she does not have an alias. She's just Jessica Jones.
Oh, all right. I don't know many, like, other than Luke Cage. I don't know many other superheroes that don't have any kind of alias.
Well, Luke Cage used to be Power Man. He used to have an alias.
That's all right. That's true.
But I mean, honestly, I think I talked about this last time. They did a short-lived series called Alias about her and writing for the Daily Bugle in this just kind of specializing in like the superhero realm, and very good series written by Brian Michael Bendis. If you want to pick it up, it's a really short read, about 4 trade paperbacks. Check it out, because I think this is what this show is going to be based on. You got her big guy, her big villain. He's the Purple Man, and being played by David Tennant.
Woo-hoo!
So I got a feeling that he's gonna they're gonna heavily focus on that storyline for this show.
Wonder how Scottish he's going to be. Probably not at all.
I mean, probably not at all.
Shoes.
I mean, I know.
Must be wearing the sand shoes.
I know being Scottish is his shtick and all, but
Wikipedia does say 2016 for Daredevil season 2. Same cast. You know what? I don't see anything about. No mention of Night Nurse. They name Rosario Dawson's character, but they don't call her Night Nurse. So.
She hasn't officially been called Night Nurse yet.
I know, but wouldn't you think we'd see that in season? Like, if they're gonna do,
I don't know. I think that's gonna come later, because she's gonna be the Nick Fury of the TV shows. She's gonna be like kind of interwoven. You'll see her in Jessica Jones. You'll see her in Luke Cage. She's gonna be patching up Iron Fist, and I'm sure somewhere along the way she'll acquire the moniker Night Nurse, because healing superheroes who help Hell's Kitchen is her shtick.
I like the way that they're not forcing these titles on these characters. We never got the words Daredevil till the very end of that. And I'm talking like the very end of that season. That I kind of think that you connect more with the character in the sense. And then when they turn into these iconic people, it feels so much better. It feels so much richer. It feels like you've earned it. That I kind of like the fact that they're not just immediately giving them their titles. Just like when we talked about if they do the Punisher, how long do we call how long until we call him the Punisher? How do we do that? So this goes back to the thing where I think Netflix and Marvel is I think they're doing this right. I think the way that they're going to do this is going to be great for the fans. Just like you said, good for binge watching. My question is this though: we know a lot of people, and there's a lot of listeners, so maybe you're one of them, that you don't do the weekend binges. You don't watch this. How do you?
They obviously have lives,
right, and loved ones and people who care. How do you?
Well, I have that, but I sacrifice
this?
Sleep.
Right. Okay.
For
but you're you. You don't need sleep. People need sleep.
Doesn't everyone need to binge and not sleep? Isn't that the sort of
No, that's the thing. So that's my question. What do we do for those people who are not that kind of nerd that binge watch things? How do you tell them to get into a show like Daredevil? What do you say?
You get 1 month before I spoil everything for you. That's the rule. I think
that's a whole nother. That's topic.
That's Brian's shtick.
I think 1 month is plenty of time for you to see one of the biggest Netflix series of all time, and if you haven't seen it at that point, then I'm going to spoil everything.
And listen, if you can't find a place to watch it, just come over to Brian's house. He's got the big theater, and remember that the cat to male ratio is very low.
It is very low, but I do think I have a reasonable way for non-binge watchers to watch. Okay,
please, I want to hear that.
You take 1 hour a week, like I'm thinking, like Sunday night at 9 o'clock, and you watch it then, because there's nothing interesting on then.
Isn't Ballers on at 9?
I was thinking whenever The Walking Dead is on, that's when you watch whatever series we recommend. You just substitute. You substitute The Walking Dead with whatever we tell you.
I was so happy to hear you come up with a great suggestion,
and you're bound to enjoy it more than whatever stupid ass zombie shit is going on that show.
Honestly, no matter what the time frame is, Josh has got a good idea. Take an hour a week, like it was premiering weekly, and just watch it.
Yeah,
watch an episode or 2 or 3 because you're gonna get sucked into it.
I mean,
I'm still bothered by the Walking Dead comment. I'm sorry. Shut down my brain.
If you're a little older, just substitute Jeopardy and The Wheel for an hour of whatever we tell you to watch.
So when you stay homesick, I can't watch Wheel of Fortune and I can't watch The Price is Right?
Bro, Price is Right is your American, is your God-given birthright. As an American citizen.
That is your sick day show.
When you are sick, you will, at 11 o'clock, you will watch Price is Right, and at noon, someone will bring you soup. And that's how it works when you're American.
So all right. So take it an hour at a time, and then nerds like us, we'll promise not to spoil it because we want you to watch it all and we want you to love it. So.
Fine when The Walking Dead is being aired, watch it then.
Stop that. Don't you put that into the...
I think it's Sundays at 8.
Universe.
Or whenever Grey's Anatomy is on.
There you go. That show's still on.
But McDreamy.
He's dead.
I know. I saw the episode.
How do you know this stuff?
You know how
all over the news.
I was waiting for my tires to get done at Pet Boys and it was on.
Just like I didn't watch 2.5 Men, but I know that they killed Charlie Sheen's character off.
Well,
gosh, all sorts of spoilers.
That was all over Twitter.
So there's a lot of other shows that are coming out on Netflix that they're doing their own original programming. Wet Hot American Summer actually premieres today, the day that we're recording this.
And I went to rewatch the movie.
I need to do that.
And what the problem was is it wasn't 12:30, and I couldn't.
And there was no Blockbuster around.
I couldn't get.
There were no Junior Mints and Funyuns.
I couldn't get through it. I'm gonna be honest. I watched the first 20 minutes, and I'm like, wow, this is not as good when it's not 12:30.
Oh man. Another show on note that's coming out, Aziz Ansari, who I've come to love because of Parks and Rec.
He was good before. I mean, his stand-up
I've always hated him.
Why?
Because I don't know.
He's so animated and so hilarious.
I don't know.
Stand-up is solid. You got
his stand-up
maybe
is
he's
solid.
too much like me, and I can't stand listening to myself all the time. So I don't know how I can stand listening to him.
None of us can stand to listen to you all the time, but we enjoy Aziz Ansari.
I'm gonna take this over a little bit. Aziz Ansari has an original show. The creators of Mr. Show, Bob Odenkirk and David Cross. You know Bob Odenkirk as Saul, Better Call Saul. And
they're also getting their own. They're also getting their own show on Netflix too.
I just said that with Bob and David.
I
That's the
thought we were talking about
whole
Aziz.
point. I'm literally reading from a list.
I thought you were talking about Aziz Ansari's show.
You've got Hemlock Grove, which nobody watches, and then obviously Jessica Jones. But for me, F is for Family with Bill Burr. If you haven't watched Bill Burr's latest stand-up, Sorry You Feel That Way, I believe it's what it's called. I'm watching it with Laura, and I am laughing uncontrollably. And she's not laughing as hard. And I'm like, why aren't you? She's like, because I hear this every day. This is basically you. This is just you talking.
So if you can't get enough Josh Burns,
but they're doing more. They're doing more than that. They're gonna. I don't know why, but they're gonna do something with Chelsea Handler. They're gonna have a Christmas special with Bill Murray. Netflix has, seriously positioned themselves to put a big dent in any cable programming.
And Netflix has done a wonderful job of very stealthily becoming less and less of just, here's the movies that you haven't seen in a long time, and here's a cool show that we just made.
Here's
and
fresh content.
Right, into, like, this is the place that has the good shit. Like, come check us out. It's really worth your time. And I remember even I wrestled with having a Netflix subscription just a few years ago. I was like, anything that I could, want on Netflix, I could just download or buy. So, fuck off. But now
you were really against a Netflix subscription?
No, seriously was. I was very against a Netflix subscription until about a year and a half ago.
In 2000, I don't know, whatever, 2001, 2002, whenever Netflix launched, I was working as a supervisor at a consumer electronics store, and we had a strategic partnership with Netflix, and I immediately got a subscription. I've been a Netflix subscriber for since day one. And
right.
Since it was, 5 DVDs at a time since then, and when it finally went to streaming, and I can't, it's been good this whole time.
I worked at a video store and I subscribed to Netflix.
Oh, man.
I'm not even joking.
You're the reason.
I know, right? I'm the reason. Now, there was plenty of reasons why that
but mostly you.
I would say on a scale from 1 to Brian shut down
myself.
Blockbuster, Brian shut
That's
down.
my shtick. I fail businesses.
Great, this podcast is doomed. It's doomed, I say. But what's really cool is that now if you go to anybody, and I really mean anybody, and you say, hey, do you have Netflix, or what do you watch on Netflix? Everyone's got their list.
It's a household name. And you know what? If they don't have, people come in and they, they'll talk to, they'll go looking for a device to stream, and they'll say, I need something that does Netflix.
Yep.
Right? Anything that does. It's Apple with the iPod. It's not an MP3, right? I want an iPod, but I want an iPod for less than $100. Well, they don't exist.
Right.
Because, it's an iPod.
An iPod.
No, anything is an iPod. No, it's an iPod is an iPod. That's how they took over the industry. Netflix has done that.
And I like to, in my daily job, I ask people, what do you do for streaming? And they're like, I don't understand what that question means. Like, do you have Netflix? Oh, yeah, I've got Netflix. Like, immediately it's, oh, okay. You don't say the word streaming and get the instant response, but when you say Netflix, people instantly get what that means.
Yep.
So it's so crazy to see how this has just evolved to the point that we're spending time out of not only of our lives just to watch it, but even just to talk about it. And in fact, if someone doesn't have a Netflix subscription, you look at them and then you wonder where their picture of, Bin Laden hiding out in a cave is hanging up in their wall. Netflix gave me the opportunity to watch all the Rockies. Woo! Minus the set of Rocky Balboa. I had to find that in an alternate location. So, Netflix is doing such a great job, and I'm really excited to see that they're committing themselves to getting a lot of content out regularly. And we're not talking that you have to put, your whole month into this. Aziz Ansari's show is just 5 hours of streaming. Bob and David with Bob Odenkirk is 2 hours. Jessica Jones, like I said, that's going to be 13 hours. And F is for Family is 3 hours of content.
Right, and all of these things, right, leading up to the end of the year, and then obviously the Bill Murray Christmas Spectacular, which should be awesome, makes the wait for House of Cards more bearable.
Yes, it does.
It's really what it boils down to.
But what's great about this is it's not just shit that's filling the void till House of Cards. It's this stuff that you're like, great, after House of Cards, now I know I have this.
But in the back of my head, I'm just silently counting down. Like, you know what I mean? Soon it's House of Cards. Is it House of Cards now? Is it? Because what happens is I just send Laura and the kids to her parents. I start watching it at 5 p.m. and I stop watching at 6 a.m. and then I go to bed. And that's my House of Cards season. It's done in 13 hours.
That's how I watched Daredevil.
I know. That's how I did it too. We all were just like, so you're done House of Cards yet? Yeah, we are.
I actually had to catch up. I had like a 30-hour binge of House of Cards. I had to catch up on all seasons.
I did the same thing Josh do. I put off sleep and I just binge watch.
I'll sleep when I die. I'll be fine.
So before we move on to our next topic, I just got to ask, you guys, since we're talking about Netflix, what are you streaming right now? Josh, have you begun watching The West Wing again?
Yeah, I had to. Look, we talked.
I remember last week you talked about.
We talked about this last Friday. I had to restore the integrity of these characters in my mind. So it was like last Friday night after the podcast, I started watching West Wing. I'm entering season 3 tonight. So 7 days, two seasons, which is, fantastic. But
right.
I can't. So I'm watching that, and then also there's a few movies that went on sale on iTunes that I have to watch. Office Space is $5 this week, by the way, people.
Oh, really?
Office Space is $5 on iTunes. Go get that.
They told me that if you don't download the movie,
it's funny that we were just doing a little Milton action before we started recording, and that's I don't even know why, but I just bought the movie, and then obviously No Country for Old Men went on sale as well, and I'm a huge Coen Brothers fan, so I may now that I've watched No Country for Old Men, I may have to rewatch all the Coen Brothers movies. I've watched all the Coen Brothers movies several times as well. Are you serious? What is that?
Are you okay,
Brian?
I'm not a Coen Brothers fan.
Oh, brother,
Sorry.
where art thou? Fargo? No.
No. Big Lebowski is the only Coen Brothers movie.
But the Hudsucker Proxy?
The what? The what?
Oh.
Okay, that was actually even obscure even for me. I didn't pick.
No, I've heard of it. I've never seen it.
Oh,
I've never heard of it.
You're hurting my head. This is awful. How do you not like?
I'm not a fan.
They're brilliant filmmakers.
Sure, if you say so.
Oh my God.
So what? Hold on, Brian. So
You will scream and shout about Zack Snyder and J.J. Abrams, but the Coen Brothers.
Listen,
that's a bridge too far.
Whoa! I never said Zack Snyder is a gift to moviegoers everywhere. Nor have I ever said that to J.J. Abrams.
I don't know, man. You defended him pretty heartily against CJ last week.
He's done good shit. And
you just wanted to yell at me. That was the only reason.
Oh, it's my favorite pastime. I do love yelling at you.
So hold on, here's my question.
But the Coen Brothers?
On the opposite side of that, Brian, since you're not into that, what are you watching? What are you streaming? Because I'm sure you're done saving Gotham again. So what are you streaming? What are you watching?
I'll tell you what I didn't do on my day off today. I did not beat Batman Arkham Knight on the hardest mode again. So I'm not streaming. I actually, you know what? I just did get caught up on demand with a USA show called Mr. Robot, which is fantastic. Yes.
Can we please talk about this show?
So good.
Everybody, please stop what you're doing unless you're listening to this podcast. Pull over if you're driving, and you need to write down on your hand, memento this thing somewhere on your body. Please go watch Mr. Robot on USA. It is amazing. This show got greenlit for a second season before the third episode aired. It's phenomenal. It is a really it's so hard to explain this story. Can you help me out, Brian?
Yeah. I mean, The main character is a relatively unknown actor, I guess. If you saw Need for Speed, you know of him. Rami Malek is his name. He plays this like kind of out of touch, like very awkward hacker. He has
social anxiety.
He's got social anxiety
and
to the max. He can't let anybody touch him. But he gets he's narrating the entire story to you, and he's talking about how he sees things differently, and he sees, some corporations differently, and one corporation in particular that he calls Evil Corp. It actually is just E Corp. But he gets kind of thrown into this whole ring of hackers in corporate espionage and like taking down this evil corporation. And it's very reminiscent of Fight Club for me,
Right.
in the terms of anarchy for anarchy's sake. Let's bring everybody back to zero. Type of mentality. It's very well done. It also stars Christian Slater, and it's probably the best thing Christian Slater's done since Broken Arrow. Honestly.
So I wanna reel some people back in, because when we're talking about hackers and computers, I know immediately some people are just going, that is way too nerdy over my head. This is a story about trying to understand someone else's mind, because you're getting this story from one person's perspective. So the question is, can you trust the information that you're seeing? Can you trust the information that you're given? And it's got a little bit of a spy thriller to it.
I feel
so not only is he hacking,
people either love it or hate it.
Yeah, it's a very polarizing show, and I'll tell you what, it's really pushing the boundaries of programming on USA. There's a lot of drug use, and there's some pretty weird
explicit
nudity
stuff
for USA. Yeah, there's the way that it's very well written, in the sense that the characters that you see are very thought out, with the exception of one or two things that bother me, and I won't get into that.
You find something that bothers you in everything.
I do.
You're never happy.
I will never be happy. But you know what, Josh, you're president from House of Cards before Frank Underwood is in this show, whose name escapes me. I'm terrible at names. That's why my name is 2 letters long, people. All right, if you haven't figured it out, I would have forgotten it by now. So thanks, Mom and Dad, for helping me out.
His name is Michael Gill.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
Listen, this show is really worth your time. If you're not into computers, you're not into tech, you don't have to understand code and hacking and servers.
Where I know. He was in the Pacific. That's where I know him from.
Okay. So I really would suggest that you give this a try. I have to thank my coworker Stacy and our friend Andre for really talking me into this show, and it's amazing. I think there's 5 episodes right now at the time of this recording. And man, you want to talk about a show that you accidentally binge? That's one of them. Yeah, you don't even notice it.
It's one of those summer shows. I think they're gonna wrap up the rest of the season like during the next primetime break or something. But yeah, I got hooked. I got hooked really bad.
The thing that the creator said about the show too is that it's going to be about 4 seasons, and that the ending is already plotted out. So there's a clear path that this story is going to go down. And it's not deviating from this. So the fact that this is going to have an end that's already bookmarked really kind of makes sure that the show writers are going to take you down the path correctly, and they're going to guide you through it. So please, Mr. Robot, go watch it on USA. I know the name sounds weird. I know the premise sounds odd, but I promise you, you're going to love the characters and you're going to love the story.
If there's only 5 episodes, you should be able to watch them all on Hulu right now.
Yeah. It's amazing. So please watch them.
And then, I mean, I'm probably going to start Deadwood finally, so freaking Josh will watch Chuck.
Watch Chuck?
No, look, at this point, I'm 3 seasons into the West Wing.
You did 2 seasons in 3 days. You're going to be done with West Wing in like 2 weeks.
And when I'm done, if you're watching the Deadwood and CJ has, because CJ stopped watching.
I had to stop watching because you made me watch the Rocky movies. Do you not remember this? Stop whatever you're watching and watch the Rocky movies?
You telling me I had to stop, that sounds like somebody else's fucking problem, not mine. So
it's a you problem, sir.
Well, I had to clean up the glass from my Saddam picture falling.
We struck a bargain. We had an agreement. We had
a sacred vow.
A sacred vow. You took an oath, as far as I recall.
So the other show that I'm finishing up now, because I'm watching Deadwood. I'm back on track. I'm watching Deadwood, but it's such a good show. But I feel like if I need to put some space in between the episodes to really digest some of the stuff that's happened, just how I feel. I just want to watch it.
I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed to binge watch the Sopranos.
Yes, I know you're not allowed to,
because apparently I in the middle of the night I'm screaming and I'm beating on my pillow, and
I didn't
frightening for my wife, so I can't. Yeah,
I didn't understand that until I watched that show. It's like, I can see exactly why Josh would have
violent.
That
I get violent in the middle of the night, and I guess, and for the rest, like during the day, you're whatever. You're kind of desensitized to all of it. But I guess if you consume sort of that much violence in a short period of time, it's bound to have some sort of lingering effect.
So does that mean if you watch like a bunch of Teen Titans or Bubble Guppies, you like hug random strangers and people on the street? You've
met me, right? Like we've met before. Does it seem like I'm hugging strangers?
I don't know. That's why I said watch something really cute.
Nah,
and cuddly
I'm not even sure I have the capacity to watch something cute and cuddly. Scrubs is about.
You watch
cute.
My face every week.
Scrubs is about as cute and cuddly as I get.
All right,
and there's Perry Cox to balance.
That's true. So you have John C. McGinley to make sure everything gets even Steven. I just also finished Quantum Leap finally.
Nice.
And that was a
So
show I had to put on hold.
good.
That ending is so odd, and they do it with
It's so
text.
good.
But it's such a great show. And you know what? Brian and I were talking about this, and this isn't on the docket. We have another topic, we'll get to it later. This is I feel like Quantum Leap is a show that you could reboot right now and just pick up and go with it.
I
Not
thought
reboot,
the
do a
three of us
sequel.
rebooted it sitting at a bar one night. Didn't we do that?
It was you,
don't
me,
know.
and Melissa. We did that,
That's right.
and we also cast The Breakfast Club. If it
Yes,
were to be
we
done now.
did. Right.
Okay, so
good.
hold on. I have to hear this. So how
I'm
do
not
you
sure I can
recast-
recall at this point.
it was
after,
priceless.
It was after a Sunday night football game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure I'll be able
mean,
to do that right now.
I told Brian my idea for just picking it up is have the you still keep Sam Beckett the same, you keep the actor the same.
No.
Yeah, hold on. Let me explain.
How are
Let me
you gonna
explain.
keep
Just because I'm going to tell you.
Scott
Here's how you do it.
Bakula? How are you gonna do that?
This is how you get Scott Bakula back. You ready? The team is still looking for. So, spoiler alert for those of you who haven't finished Quantum Leap ever. He's still leaping, right? So the team finally finds him and brings him back. And they're like, "We finally found you. You're back. Welcome back." And he goes, "No, like I wanted to be out there. I was doing good for the world. I was fixing things. You guys, you don't understand what you've just done." And it's like, "Oh, well, listen, I hate to break this to you, but the way that we got you back will never let you leap again. You are stuck here. You can't go anywhere." So
then it's a show about him acclimating
then
to
it's-
life in the real world.
No,
like Captain America.
So he becomes the new hologram for a new leaper.
Oh,
That person goes through, and he's guiding a new leaper through the process.
I'd be okay with that.
I would watch the shit out of that
Yeah.
show.
I would watch the crap
I'd be
out of
okay with that because then
You're welcome.
He could crack wise. Yeah.
Yep. And you can still do the oh boy.
Yeah, I'd be okay
It'd be
with
great.
that. Yeah.
Right? Exactly. You're
Sure.
welcome. You're welcome, America. And whatever producer greenlights it, I don't
Netflix.
even need the credit. Just go make
it should be a Netflix show. Netflix should bring back Quantum Leap.
I would do that.
They
It'd
should
be
bring back
great.
a lot of shows. They brought back Arrested Development.
I want to do I want to do an episode where we actually do talk about shows that got canceled too early and that we bring back, because Brian brought that up to me the other day.
I did.
And we started compiling a little list, and I'm excited for what we have.
I sent you like 8 ideas immediately.
I know, right? It's a really good idea.
Let's save this. Let's put a pin in it, because I want to have a better conversation, a flow of thought for that, because I don't know how we got here and all.
I'm gonna put a pin in you.
Oh, thank you. I can be on your Pinterest board.
Oh God,
Turned it around.
Nope.
Josh is not a Pinterest
I didn't
user.
say it was
No.
a win. I just said I turned it around. It's an obvious lose. Pinterest.
So
For those
damn-
of you who use Pinterest, I'm sorry.
he's so
Not-
damn
not-
positive.
not for the
He's
joke,
so
the fact
positive
that he
all the
used
time. He's always positive.
Never mind. Okay. So let's talk about the next passion in Josh's life, and that's music and streaming music.
Yep.
Apple has some sources that have said that they have over 10 million subscribers in their first month alone,
Huh?
which is freaking
Because
impressive.
it was.
I
free.
would. I hate to
Well,
say
yeah.
it this
We'll
way.
see how many of those go away after 3 months.
Well, I hate to say it this way, but I wonder how we can correlate that to the amount of people who updated to 8.4 in the first
Yeah.
month.
at
I
least
don't know.
all of them.
Well, the thing is, you didn't have to use, right? You could opt out of Apple.
You
Music
didn't
if
have to
use it.
use the free 3-month subscription, except every time you open iTunes, it tells you have a
Yeah,
free
it-
3-month subscription.
Who uses a computer anymore? I mean, honestly.
On your
For
phone,
iTunes?
your phone. If
On
you
my
updated,
phone?
if you updated
Oh, you
your,
mean my music app, not iTunes. Gotcha. Okay, I'm sorry.
your music app,
Okay.
it's the same. It's the same icon. It's whatever, but it,
No, it's a totally different icon.
it's the same.
One-
Purple
it's-
and
It's the
no.
same. It's the same icon
Same
on your
exact
phone
one.
as it is on your Mac.
he hasn't
Oh, right.
obviously not updated his Mac.
Yeah, I was gonna say you haven't updated your Mac. It's all different now.
No, it's the same icon. You
Oh,
haven't updated your Mac.
Maybe El Capitan's icon's different. I don't know.
Whatever, dude. I now don't like this conversation anymore.
Yeah. Seriously.
All right, fine. The hell with that.
No, so here's the thing that I'm loving about Apple Music is the just the variety and everything is sort of easily switchable. Playlists are easy to build. The suggestions are pretty intuitive, and then obviously the integration with my own music, not just having to download it onto my phone, but to make anything available offline sort of automatically is great.
Well, what I thought was interesting is that Pandora came out after, so Apple put out this number to somebody and it got leaked. Leaked in air quotes. After Apple put out this number and said, "Look at us, everybody, we're doing freaking well." Pandora's like, "We haven't seen a change in our service like at all."
You mean Spotify?
No, I mean Pandora came out and made a press statement saying, "Listen, I know Apple Music's had great success and that they're putting some numbers, but we don't have anything." And Spotify, I think Spotify is a little scared because they started sending out promotional material to a couple of users with, "Hey, here's why you have Spotify. You remember this? Here's some packets. Here's some statistics that you may be interested to know." Because they have about 20 million paid subscribers and 55 million people using it for free. So I mean, they're still way ahead of Apple right now.
Sure,
but they're still kind of. It looks like that they're worried. I mean, unless I'm reading into this too strong. It looks like people are converting over to Apple Music and not using Spotify while they're doing so.
Well, there's no reason to use Spotify. Brian, have you used Apple Music?
I have.
And
I'm liking it. The music selection, like the For You stuff, needs to get a little fine tuned for me.
You
it's
have
not
to
exactly there yet.
it.
Huh?
You have to fine tune it.
Oh, I know. That's why. That's why I'm saying. It's guys. I got some work to do on that end. It does everything that I was using my Spotify for, which was just build a playlist and listen to it. And then there's that added feature of having something really be able to kind of pick out a playlist for me. And also, I do like the fact that if I go to the only place where I can buy the Beatles albums on iTunes and buy them, I can throw them into my playlist and stuff like that. I do enjoy that. So I'm enjoying it so far. I'm probably going to get rid of my Spotify, to be completely honest. I've kept it active this entire time.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I mean, because Apple Music does. I literally went through my Spotify list, built that same exact playlist in Apple Music, and I'm good.
There's actually now a couple apps that do that for you after you went through that arduous.
Yes, it took me. Here's the best part. It took me I downloaded 8.4. I get started with Apple Music, and I literally sat down for about 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And I had my Spotify up on my MacBook, and I was just going through on my phone, and I was just adding stuff. Literally, I added the last song, and CJ texts me. He's like, "Hey, here's this app you can use to just copy and paste your Spotify playlist." And I'm like, "You son of a bitch."
I didn't know, but I laughed so
angry.
hard when I found that
I was like, "Yeah, thanks a lot. I just finished doing it all the longest way possible."
That's terrible.
So we're talking, when we talk about Netflix as a way to, consume music, and they've positioned themselves to be the only place that does what they do. Because Hulu does original content and Amazon does original content, but that stuff hasn't gotten as much press or praise as some of the content that's on Netflix. Here's Apple coming into this space saying, "Okay, now we're going to start doing streaming music better than iTunes Radio," because that sucked. And Spotify, which was the rock and the pillar of that kind of strategy, I see them wavering, and I'm as an Apple fan, I'm actually surprised, especially when someone like Brian here is saying that he's took away his Spotify, that he's going to cancel Spotify subscription. I don't know. Those people are so
and everyone should do what I do always.
He was so ingrained in that I think it's such a change of thinking. I really don't expect it from a lot of people.
No, I don't think it's that radical. I mean, ultimately, if you can have something that's native versus third party, that's what you'd want, right? So if this is built into my phone, it's probably going to function better. It's probably going to be smoother. And we know Apple's solid for content. We know who's curating it. I mean, obviously, it's nice to look at. It's pleasing to the eye. The aesthetics are obviously all good. Beats One isn't something I listen to live, but wait for it.
Go ahead.
But
you're doing the same thing I'm doing.
When you scroll down to the bottom and you have all the individual channels and you can play back, because I mean, I like music and I like what I like, but I like listening to things that people who really know music suggest I should listen to, and I usually find that to be pleasing. And they have some serious people, hosting an hour or two on the show, and they're putting together a playlist of what they play. One of my favorite ones is Abstract Radio. Mm-hmm. It's Q-Tip from Why Can't I Even Tribe Called Quest, and his playlists are always on point, and they're a good mix. Pharrell has really good playlists too.
Yeah, he does.
Other Tone, I think, is his channel.
I've been doing that too. Is I'm not listening to it live. I initially thought this is what I would do, but then just like you said, Beats One really turned it.
Oh yeah, well that's world music. That's what world music is.
You're absolutely right, but that's what I'm doing right now. Is I'm finding the artists that I like that have their own programs, and I'm not listening to I'm not going, oh well, this is supposed to be live at 12. Remind me to do that. I'll go afterwards and I'll look at their set list and I'll play it. And I'm actually very surprised that I'm doing it that way, and I'm enjoying it so much.
Well, they're great, and it's such an eclectic. Like, it doesn't matter in my experience thus far, it doesn't matter who you're listening to. These people that are in the music industry, they're influenced by sort of every direction. So guys like Q-Tip and Pharrell, they're just the rock, the R&B, the alternative, and the hip hop influences are unbelievably good. And the music.
Has anybody listened to Jaden Smith's show yet?
No, and I don't think I ever
I'm
will.
really interested.
I don't want to
see
hear
what he's put together.
his music playlist. I want to hear that.
But he's the
banter.
voice of the people, CJ. He knows me.
His tweets are ridiculous. So I want to read something real quick. Just I don't want to take too much time because I have another idea here. This is some of the questions that Spotify sent out to select users in regards to Apple Music, which to me really kind of shows that they're kind of frightened for this. And they say it starts out with some really basic stuff, but it's all geared towards Apple. It's how favorable are you, if at all, towards Apple as a company? How have you heard about Apple Music over the past few weeks? And then this is kind of where they're just like, seriously, we want to know about Apple Music.
Please love us.
To what extent do you agree with these statements about Apple Music? It is a service run by music lovers for music lovers.
You mean their slogan?
Right. If Apple is the only place where I can stream some of my favorite artists, I will most likely pay for it. And then the fact that there is a free 3-month trial rather than 1 month makes me more likely to buy it, and I have canceled my Spotify subscription in favor of Apple Music. They're very... I mean, it's a pretty direct thing
They're frightened.
They're seriously frightened, which, I mean, I didn't expect Spotify to be that worried, because they've been coming out very cocky, and this is their first break of the mask.
Why didn't you expect them to be threatened by...
No, threatened and then, pathetically threatened. It's, why don't you like me? What can we do to be better?
CJ,
why did we break up?
CJ, when Apple got into the MP3 business, what happened?
The world lost their mind.
When Apple got into the phone business, what happened?
People laughed at it, and then it became the most popular phone.
When Apple got into the tablet business, what happened?
People didn't know what a tablet was before that.
Right. And now that they're getting into streaming content, what do you think's going to happen?
The Beatles are maybe going to make its way over to Apple Music. God, I hope so.
It's going to happen. They have the right formula. They have the right leadership. They have the right vision. They're going to take over.
The thing that I think here's the other part for this. The other thing I think is worrying Spotify is not so much right now the actual Apple users, which I know is a big part of it. But in the fall, the ambiguous Apple fall, they're going to make an Android version of Apple Music. And I'm wondering if Apple is going to be able to take people away from Android, based ways to listen to music, and there's tons of them.
Yeah,
and switch some of those people over to Apple Music. I mean, because most people who have an Android device are listening to Spotify and RDO, and they're not paying attention to Apple Music.
Yeah, but everybody's got an iTunes.
Yep, because everybody at some point in their lives had an iPod.
Right. But now those people that are hardcore...
There are
Samsung...
3 people, including my brother, who had a Zune. But everybody else had an iPod.
The thing was oddly shaped. You couldn't lay it on a table properly.
Remember when
they
did the Big Bang Theory about that? And Sheldon saw Guthrie Poly's iPod. Was like, yeah, but you're going to be disappointed when Microsoft comes out with the Zune. But so here's my question I'm asking. Do you think that people that are really into the Android community and really built into that, do you think that those people will go into Apple Music?
No.
Because Josh, you used to be a pretty heavy Android person.
Yeah, and I don't. And I also don't think they're paying for Spotify. They have a rooted phone with a hacked Pandora account.
Heck, I think you just put in free music into the Play Store, and there's already 90 apps to do that.
So,
I don't know how many times I had
that
to
could be
troubleshoot
true.
someone's phone because of that.
But in either case, the people who are hardcore Android users, and it's less likely that they use a playlist at all. They have a 64 gig flash card installed in their phone, and they've downloaded all the music that they want. So I'm not really. That's not the audience, though. It's not the hardcore Android user. It's the casual smartphone user who just is not buying Apple because they don't want to pay for the premium. They want to just buy a 96-cent smartphone.
Right. So again, then I guess my perspective's off. Is Spotify's main business then iPhone users, and that's why they're so terrified? Because I thought really Spotify's main target audience was more Android device and a little bit of iPhone people.
Half the world uses iPhones. So
right, but half of them are also my mom, who also don't listen to streaming services. I mean, we've sold
think Josh's
countless
point is that
devices
there's
to
some
that.
crossover there.
half the world uses iPhones. So if you have an app for smartphones and 50% are at risk right now, what are you doing?
Yeah, I would do the same thing. You're right.
You're
Okay.
shitting your proverbial pants and your
Gotcha.
actual pants too.
So we had talked. Actually, it's in our Lost episode. So you guys never heard this conversation. And by the way, for anyone wondering, that episode it's lost. It's not coming back.
Is that
It's
the
not
one because of Josh or because of me?
That was
I don't remember.
I think that was me.
But it's not one of those things where like, hey guys, it's a year of the That Kind of Nerd podcast, and here's that lost episode. No, it's never coming back. I'm
It's
so
gone.
sorry.
The one that's not
Completely
coming back is mine. The one the original one was Brian.
That's right. That was Brian. Anywho, shit. Now, okay, right. What we talked about just a second ago, Josh, was that we're really liking the curated playlists by these music lovers, right?
Yes.
Pharrell and all that, and we're listening to not necessarily their program, but what they're saying.
Yes.
And that level of curation, I think, is unique to Apple Music alone right now. I don't know anything else that really kind of has that deep level.
Laura and I, with the kids, so we were airplaying my phone to the home theater system, and we wasted 2 hours, just looking up. I just did a search for soundtracks, right? And then I just started playing these great soundtrack playlists. And then I heard a song that made me think of something else, so I put in 90s R&B. And then we're listening to, songs from Power 99 when Laura and I were teenagers. We did that for 40 minutes. And it was just, there's so much on there, and they're all really neatly placed into these playlists. And you just need to explore it. There's a ton of stuff out there.
So here's my question. We had talked a couple weeks ago and a couple episodes ago about Netflix upping their price in the future due to higher resolution, better audio quality content. Would you pay more money for Netflix if they had a kind of human curation as to what programs you would like or watch, like Apple Music does right now?
No.
You don't think so?
No, I don't
because
think...
the recommended for you pile, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but every time I see mine, I'm like, I don't give a shit about any of it.
Then you're not doing enough work.
Then you don't know how to Netflix.
No, like I'm liking I'm liking things. I'm doing all that. I'm rating things after I get done watching them. I'm sharing it on Facebook after I watch something I'm really into.
How many titles do you have in your watch list or your queue?
I don't know off the top of my
I've
head.
got like 350 in there.
Yeah, no, I can't do that, because if I do that, I'm never going to watch anything.
If you do that, it'll know what to recommend for you.
I don't know. I'm afraid.
Okay.
But so wait, do you think though that level of curation that Netflix is giving you right now is on par with what Apple's doing with?
No, it's not on
music
par.
catalog?
It's so not. So
Okay, that's fine.
Apple has
so. Go ahead. No, please.
Apple has industry professionals. They're not saying this is built for you. They're saying we think you're gonna like this in this way, arranged in this this order. And you know what? If you don't, give it a listen anyway, because you might. Now, some of that's based on your taste, and some of that is extrapolated based on stuff that people have curated based on what you like, so branching you out. I don't think video content is the same as music. I think that musical tastes are so varied and so intricate, and I don't think that video entertainment works the same as music. At least it certainly isn't. I can't watch a video. I can't watch something on TV and get amped for my day. It doesn't put me in a mood like music does. So I don't need it curated at that level. I just need it to be readily available when I want it.
Okay.
What I think, tell you what I would pay for. I would pay more for a customizable user interface for Netflix.
I think Netflix. Well, this is the other part too. Is
the ability to move things. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But because this is the other part of Netflix. It's not a unified viewing experience. Using Apple TV looks one way. Doing it on a computer looks another way. Doing it on Xbox and a PlayStation, it all looks kind of different. So I think if they could just make it one way, I think that would be a lot.
My favorite. I'll tell you right now. My favorite interface is Xbox, but I don't.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't.
Same interface as the PlayStation.
It's
just FYI.
I like that interface, but it's buggy. Like it doesn't.
Oh, on the Xbox?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Xbox, PlayStation, all of it.
On the gaming consoles, it's not as nice as you want it to be.
It's not.
Good.
It's not as fluid, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So the controls are more fluid online, but the interface isn't as nice. It's just very strange.
Okay. But overall, I think there's a lot going on. So a lot of what we talked about today was streaming along with some movies. So this is a very entertainment one. So I hope you guys liked it. But I think there's a lot of really good stuff coming down the pipe. I think August is going to be a fun month for not only just tech, but also just things that are going on in entertainment. I think we're going to have a lot of fun with it. I'm excited to see what Netflix is doing. And I can't wait to see some female superheroes showing up on my television. I think it's pretty awesome. So, speaking of fun things happening in the month of August, entertainment-wise, we're going on the road. We're going to go to...
We are going on the road.
We're going on the road.
You got animated.
Like a dog.
You got animated about that.
Car. Can I go for a walk?
Oh, wow.
I get away from my wife and kids. Woo! That's terrible.
Wow. Yeah, that is. You're awful.
You know what? I'm going to leave it in. You know why? Because my wife doesn't listen to the podcast.
I'm actually...
Yes, listener, I heard you gasp.
I'll be thinking of my children the entire time.
Aww.
While he's forcing me to listen to NWA.
That's true.
Because you want his children to listen to NWA.
That's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh, I remember when they first heard this song.
I mean, they don't listen to kids' music, but they don't listen to anything explicit either. That's awful.
All right, so we're gonna go to SteelCon. I'm actually really excited because Josh, I'm correct in this. This is our first comic book convention.
Steel City Con will be my first Comic Con. CJ's first Comic Con. We're all
my 15th.
Brian doesn't get a mention because he's been too many.
Jeff's been to a few as well. I believe Jeff will be attending with us
too.
I think so. Yeah, and we'll all pile in my Passat and we'll drive the 5-hour trek out to Pittsburgh. Midday on Friday. We'll be recording from hotel rooms Friday night. Look, it's gonna be a rough.
It's gonna be a
rough podcast. We'll probably be a little inebriated and
tired.
Well, I don't really get tired before 2 a.m. So we'll be all right. we'll be just fine.
All right.
But it's gonna be exciting, and I think I'm gonna try to see if we can figure out how Periscope works.
Oh, I was just about to say that. We're actually going to be a little more interactive during this trip. We're gonna finally go and do some periscoping, and then if this really goes well, we may even periscope our episode, or at least a couple minutes before we record the podcast. Get some thoughts from you guys. We're going to be sharing a lot more on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. So your news feed, your RSS feed is going to start blowing up. We apologize in advance, but I'm going to tell you it's going to be good stuff. It's going to be us being jokers and just messing around. It's going to be some nerdy things that we see on the floor, maybe a famous person here or there. I don't know how that all works out, but we're going to do it. So make sure that if you're on Periscope, if you're on Instagram, that you're following us. For Instagram, someone actually took the handle That Kind of Nerd. So we are That Kind of Nerd Real. Oh yeah, we're the real one.
Oh my
so follow That Kind of Nerd Real and tell That Kind of Nerd on Instagram to give us our handle because I only think that's fair. That poor guy's like, hey, you got the same name as me. We should be friends. No, I want your handle. Don't allow it.
Can we buy his handle?
I don't think you can. I think Instagram's all weird like that.
If he deleted his account, could we change our handle?
That's a great question. What, are you going to force him out of Instagram?
Why?
You're gonna make him
No,
enough
I've
to get
got
refused.
some crack in a drop gun. I'll just sprinkle some crack.
So follow us on our social media sites. If you use Twitter, you automatically use Periscope. Isn't that wonderful? So just get ready. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be the first time a bunch of us are going to be like hanging out together in a while. So it's going to be nerdy. It's going to be great. So bear with us, enjoy it, and listen. If you have any suggestions as to what you want to hear about the floor when you hear about a trip, let us know. I think we'll make the proper accommodation. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I also want to take a quick moment, and I really want to thank a fan, Ashley Beth, who I went to college with, who lives all the way in Indonesia, who found our podcast through our Facebook page. And she started subscribing, but she also left us a wonderful review. And I want to take a moment and to read it because she was nice enough to do that. So it says, "What a nerdtastic listening experience! 5 stars. I love listening to this podcast because it's hilarious, but also informative. It also plays, and I guess you're supposed to say in the background, at night. My coworkers must think I'm crazy because I randomly laugh out loud while working on my computer, but I'll take it if I can keep enjoying these conversations." So thank you very much, Ashley, for leaving a review. And for those of you who haven't had the courage yet to do so, go to iTunes and leave a review for us. We'll take it honestly as we can. So if you don't think we're worth 5 stars, that's fine. Tell us what we can do to make the show better, because at the end of the day, this is your show, and we want to hear your voice on it. You can also leave us a voicemail on our Google Voice account. This obviously has worked out for some people, as we played Paul last week, and I had a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun interacting with his question, and like I said, just don't leave one for me because I obviously don't care.
I had a lot of fun not answering a question.
Anyway,
I really enjoyed giving Paul the giant middle finger.
My approach to voicemails is deceive, inveigle, and obfuscate.
Well, listen, like I said, I
enjoy
really
telling people to leave voicemails to help me change my opinion and then not change my opinion.
No, it wasn't anyway. 484-373-4119 is our phone number. It's in our show notes, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are listening on the podcast app, just go ahead and give that a tap. It'll turn it around. Tells you a little bit about the episode, but also tells you how to check out our website, and also just to leave a phone number.
Taparoo.
Taparoo.
Tappy.
And like I said, give us a review. If you think there's something that we need to change, or if you think we're wonderful and we should never change, I want to know. And anything in between. Come on, don't be wishy-washy. Have to have an opinion.
We listen to people.
We do. Seriously, we do read all the comments.
There was that survey that said I needed more cats.
Yes.
And to you, sir, I say I went to the cat shelter today. I have not picked one out, but we will. I'm sure we'll find out soon enough.
Well, that's good because that cat to male ratio needs to remain rather low.
I know. Well, they're not my cats, so.
But the ratio needs to be there.
They've outnumbered me as it is. I include my roommate as one of the cats.
No. The cat to ratio very low.
Very low. And you know what? It's only, I think, a matter of time before one of Ben's cats gets interested in the outside and goes walkabout.
Yeah, that's very true. A walkabout is
that the second thing that you've threatened to not be where it's supposed to be today in the last 20 minutes?
No, the cat is he'll find a farm. It'll be nice.
So listen, like I said, the surveys are anonymous.
Is there one, Brian, that you prefer more than the other? Just to find a farm is all I'm asking.
In terms of cats?
Yeah.
Yes.
Which one should find the farm?
The bigger one.
All right, fair enough.
The one who's never leaving the house to find a farm.
Say no more. Say no more.
You're going to make me play a Sarah McLachlan ASPCA commercial after this. Please don't.
Ben doesn't listen to the podcast, right? Ben, I was totally joking.
So I got to say this. Whoever did this, you've made my day reading this review. Someone went onto our survey, and they're very generous and very honest about some things that we need to change, so I really do appreciate the feedback.
I remember saying Josh is awesome.
So this is what it says. So it goes, what changes would most improve our podcast? And this is what this person responded to. And whoever did this, come and own this, because you need to get something for this. Josh needs to watch Chuck. CJ needs to restore some man cards.
That's never happening.
And Brian needs more cats.
Apparently, I do need
It's
more cats.
Wonderful. That is so great, so clever. And then it says, do you have any comments or questions or concerns? Please see above. Yes. You, sir, have won the survey. I don't know what you've won, but you've won it. So if you think you can top that and you want to give us some constructive criticism as well, or just some pats on the back, you can also take our survey.
We take props. I enjoy props.
I got so excited I stopped doing whatever I was supposed to be doing at work just to show
he
Brian
ran
it.
3 desks down. He's like, Brian, look at this.
So just know that your comments, your tweets, your emails, they make our day. And you know what? I hope we made your day today. Thank you for making us your walk around the neighborhood or your drive to work. And thank you so much for listening. Guys, it's been a pleasure.
Shtick. Shtick. And everyone should do what I do, always.
He's so damn positive. He's so positive all the time. He's always positive.
Please love us. Shtick.